Once upon a time there was a ship called Mrs. Orangeleaf. She was painted grey, and on her side there was a number. So when she passed other ships in the sea, they would know who she was and say, "Good day, Mrs. Orangeleaf." And here's one of her many adventures.
Once upon a time there was a ship called Mrs. Orangeleaf. She was painted grey and on her side was a number, so when other ships on the sea saw her, they would know who she was. And they would say, "Hello, Mrs. Orangeleaf." Mrs. Orangeleaf carried lots of fuel and water to give to other ships that belonged to the Queen of the United Kingdom. They were known as Royal Navy ships. They too were all painted grey. Mrs. Orangeleaf was part of a very large family. They were known as the Royal Fleet Auxiliary. It was getting near to Christmas, and this particular day Captain Stephen received a phone call off a very special person.
Hello, sir. This is Captain Stephen speaking. How can I help you?
Hello, Captain Stephen. My name is Santa Claus, and I have a problem. I understand that you are leaving the South Pole very shortly to return to the United Kingdom. But before you go, would you and I have a meeting?
If we can help you, we certainly will. But you will need to give directions to us so we can promptly arrive to you, Santa.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I will tell you a big secret that no one else knows, Captain. You see, Captain, I have a house in the South Pole where I keep some of my toys. I will send my magic sleigh to pick you up with a couple of my elves on it.
That would be wonderful of you, Santa. I can leave my ship in the capable hands of my officers and crew.
Captain Stephen was so very excited as he always loved Christmas, and now he was going to see Santa Claus.
Santa Claus will be sending his magical sleigh, as there is a matter of importance he has to discuss with me.
Aye, Captain, and I will tell the crew all to be quiet and not to discuss anything they see or hear.
It seems as if I'm going to help in something very special before I leave the Falklands.
She was so excited, she started bouncing up and down on the sea.
Look, it's Santa, and he is coming to take Captain Stephen somewhere special to help him with something big. Santa is a very special man. He and his helpers, the elves, are small people that make toys and gadgets for children all over the world, and he delivers them to every child on Christmas Eve.
All of a sudden, there was a loud tinkling sound of bells. Before they could say anything, Captain Stephen gets on the sleigh and with a whoosh, flew back into the sky.
See if I can remember these reindeers. Let me see. There is Rudolph, Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Comet, Cupid. Oh dear, what is the other one's name? I know, it's Vixen.
Captain Stephen was so excited, but he was anxious too, because he didn't know what Santa wanted him for. One of the elves who was with Captain Stephen was called Titch. Soon the sleigh came to a big whoosh and went down and down, and the captain was glad he had his seatbelt on. They soon landed on the flat ice. It didn't seem long before they arrived in a big room. He could hear faint Christmas carols being sang and even knocking and machinery working. Then in walked Santa. Where he came from, the captain hadn't seen.
Hello, Santa. It's a tremendous pleasure to meet you at your home.
As it is Christmas every day here, we must make all the toys for the children, and it keeps the spirit of Christmas alive too. My elves, Mrs. Claus, and myself have done this for hundreds of years. Also, if we forget the reason to celebrate Christmas, then there wouldn't be a Christmas.
I agree, Santa, and fully understand. We have been to places like this. There has been earthquakes, tornadoes, or in very hot countries there is famine, poor health and no clear water. Also, there are people who have different faiths to us, so do not celebrate Christmas, but they have different celebrations to us and celebrate at different times of the year.
They entered a very large room. There was a lot of elves very busy hammering nails in different toys and other elves painting the toys. Then elves packing them in boxes, teddy bears and many other toys being made. He couldn't believe his eyes.
Is it true you have a naughty and a nice room, Santa?
Well, of course I do. That is one job that Mrs. Claus and some of the elves do.
They turned a corner, and before him, it looked like a feast on the table.
Come on now. I'm not wasting my time and cooking all this food for it to go cold and waste. Come on now, quickly.
Thank you, Mrs. Claus. This is a wonderful dinner. It's fit for the Queen of the United Kingdom. I do apologise, Santa. Don't think me rude. I've been here for hours and I must get back to my ship. You wanted to ask me to do something for you. Will you tell me now?
Well, it is like this, Captain. On your return to the United Kingdom, I know you call at ports on the way back. I would very much like you to take parcels with you and deliver the presents on the way. But some of these places, as you said, do not celebrate Christmas.
I have a friend. Showkat is his name. He is from the Gulf of Dubai. A small little boy. His family are Muslim. He and all the other children do not get presents, but they have a special day called Eid.
Come on, Santa. Come on, Captain. Have a last drink and some of my special pie I've made for you.
It was now time to say his goodbyes to Santa, Mrs. Claus, and all the elves and fairies, who sprinkled magic dust everywhere it was needed.
Right, Titch, make sure you drive carefully as the sleigh is loaded very high, so it's best you drive slowly.
Titch then shouted the magic words to the reindeers, and again, whoosh, they were up in the sky before Captain Stephen could wave his hand. The snow was coming down very thick, with big snowflakes. But this didn't worry Titch. He was singing at the top of his voice. Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Don't worry now, Captain. Santa has told the reindeers which way to go, and they have Santa's magic dust in their ears, so they can go all around the world and not get lost.
It's amazing how the reindeers know their way. Mrs. Orangeleaf has a compass which shows her which direction to sail in, whether it's north, south, east or west.
Then with a gentle thump, the sleigh landed. All the crew came to see the sleigh and unload it. The captain turned to thank Titch and the reindeers for bringing him back safely. But he was so shocked that they had disappeared. There was no sign of them, not even in the sky.
Santa needs our help to deliver gifts, food, medicine and water to poor children or children in war countries. But Santa wants to make sure that no matter where the children come from, they must be shown that they are loved.
Mr. Nav, what will our course be? If Captain says we have to go to Dubai, we will then go northerly to the Gulf and into the Mediterranean, down past West Africa through the Straits of Hormuz.
She was so excited, she started bouncing up and down on the sea. But she knew there would be dangers ahead, especially going through the Straits of Hormuz. But she would be leaving the icebergs. After a few days at sea, they were rounding Cape Horn. There were very dark skies. Snow and ice stung Mrs. Orangeleaf's face. Then she saw another ship on the horizon. So Mrs. Orangeleaf was so happy to see two friends. One was Mr. USS Admiral Carney, and he was a destroyer. The other was USS Uncle Dwight Eisenhower. He is a very big aircraft carrier and carries lots of jets. The captains of the three ships had been talking to each other on the telephones about the problems Santa Claus had.
Have you heard the news about the United Kingdom? It has major flooding, and certain areas are without homes, and people have lost all their belongings.
No, I have heard nothing. As I told you, we have been to the Falklands, and you know how difficult communication is there.
The captains of both ships agreed to take most of the presents from Santa, as both ships were going to different areas around the world.
I am so grateful to you for saving the day for Santa. As soon as I hear from headquarters, I will return to the United Kingdom and see what help we can be of.
As Mrs. Orangeleaf was now near Great Britain, they could see on the televisions on the ship just how much damage there was.
Don't you all worry about the flooding. Santa always finds the children. Whatever country has disasters, Santa sorts it out.
Captain Stephen, we see that your country has major problems, and as we are in the area, we thought we would offer our services of help to you.
That is very thoughtful of you, Captain. We will most probably take you up on your offer.
Sir, there's a person in the tree.
Over there, sir, amongst the trees.
Well done, Woody. Well done.
Excuse me, sir, but we are unable to get Mrs. Orangeleaf over near those trees. It's far too shallow. If I may suggest, sir, how about lowering Maria the Rib down with the crew?
Brrr, this is cold water and dirty too, but it's good that I can help the crew rescue the person in the tree.
Maria and the crew were now next to the trees, and Woody could see it was a little boy. He was shivering badly because of the cold weather, and the very cold water had got him very wet.
Come on, little boy. You're safe now. We want you to jump into my arms, okay, son?
And with that, the little boy jumped right down into Woody's open arms.
Captain, sir, we have a person, and to our surprise, it's a little boy.
All the crew were astonished to hear it was a little boy, and he was all alone, but they were pleased they had found him.
What's your name, son? What on earth were you doing on a tree, all on your own?
Alwyn Jones is my name. My mum's name is Kylie, and my dad's name is Terence, but they call him Terry. All I wanted to do was make sure Santa came to visit me.
Oh, come on now, we don't want any tears. I thought you were a brave boy.
When you have finished your food, wrap the blanket around you until your clothes are dry. Then you can come onto the bridge with me and the captain and a few others too. How would you like that?
Ooh, do you mean that? That would be fantastic.
To everyone's amazement, who was nearly alongside Mrs. Orangeleaf was one of her cousins. Mounts Bay was her name, another ship of the Royal Fleet Auxiliary. She was quite a new ship. Captain Ian off the Mounts Bay was a friend to Captain Stephen, so they chatted to each other. Then Mrs. Orangeleaf noticed a familiar face on Cousin Mounts Bay. It was Merlin the helicopter, sitting on the helicopter deck.
Hi, Merlin. What are you doing on there?
Oh, I only thumbed a lift as it was impossible for me to fly all the way home.
Captain Stephen then heard a familiar sound of tinkling bells and looked up. He saw Santa doing loops in the sky and talked to him on his walkie-talkie.
Hello there, Santa. If you notice, Cousin Mounts Bay has a helicopter deck, and it will be much better for you to land on him.
Very well, Captain Stephen. I will see you on board.
Captain, is that really Santa and his reindeers and sleigh?
Santa was greeted by both captains and was escorted by them to the tank deck.
Let's not waste no time, Captain. This time of year is so busy for me. I have brought all the things we discussed.
Captain Stephen told Santa all about Alwyn.
I heard all about you and your adventure up the tree. Now that was a naughty thing to do, as your parents and family will be very worried about you. Now Captain Stephen is going to find out where you live and return you safe and sound to your mummy and daddy.
Santa was going to be helped by Merlin the helicopter, so Santa piled lots of gifts into Merlin to be delivered.
I am so sorry, my friends, but I must go. I can't thank you all enough for your kindness tonight. I will never forget you all, but I must get back to my home and Mrs. Claus.
Dr. Andy was standing by the sleigh with Alwyn. They were both stroking the reindeers, and their bells were jingling as their heads were going up and down.
Thank you very much for making sure Alwyn was all right. You're a good chap to have on board ship to make sure all the crew keep well and healthy. Thank you very much.
No problem, Santa. This is my job, to make sure Alwyn and the crew are all kept well, or the ship would not be able to work as it should.
Now, Alwyn, come and stand here next to me. Each Christmas, put this crystal ball in your window, and it will glow, so I will be able to see it. Will you do that, Alwyn?
Alwyn was so surprised, he said, "Yes, Santa, I will promise, I will."
I have some very good news, and also some sad news too. Firstly, I have a message from the United States Navy that USS Admiral Carney, our distant cousin, and Uncle USS Eisenhower are pleased that they'll be helping to deliver the gifts for Santa to the children in other parts of the world. The sad part is, we all must soon depart to carry on our work. I also have another sad announcement to make, as this will be Mrs. Orangeleaf's last trip. The Admiralty have announced that she is now very old. She is to go into retirement. may I take this opportunity on behalf of all her friends all over the world to wish her a very happy retirement. This will not be the end of our adventures with Mrs. Orangeleaf, as the adventures will now be taken over by cousin Miss Fort Victoria, who will be the senior ship.
All went very quiet, which seemed like a long time. A few tears rolled down the cheeks of some of the crew. Even bigger ones rolled down the face of Mrs. Orangeleaf.
My work is now complete, and my last job was to help Santa.
Then Santa boarded his sleigh and said his goodbyes again. He had already told Alwyn that he was going to take him home.
Come on, let's go. You may have your presents and your sisters too. I must now say the magic words for us to fly up in the sky. I will never forget everyone's help. May I take this opportunity to wish you all a very happy Christmas.
Then there were stars sparkling like crystal behind the sleigh as it disappeared from view. But faintly you could still hear Santa saying, "Happy Christmas." Captain Stephen announced to the crew all the gifts for around the world had been delivered. A big cheer went up from all the officers and crew. Santa had heard this, even though he could not be seen. Now from all the officers and crew members of Mrs. Orangeleaf, Cousin Mounts Bay, Merlin the helicopter, Miss Fort Victoria, Cousin USS Admiral Carney, Great Uncle Dwight Eisenhower, Cousin George Washington, we wish you all a very happy Christmas.
Ho, 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 and a Merry Christmas.